right, a little change of pace today. Ordinarily, we'd have Scott Reed on, but he is involved in tonight's in tonight's debate, Read the Election. So we're very lucky to be joined by Antonine Yaccarini. She is a political analyst, public relations consultant, and former PQ and CAQ staffer. Antonine, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, by coming in, I mean on the phone. You're actually not here.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm in Quebec City.
Yeah. And I will mention, by the way, of course, as always, our feature is brought to you by Guaranteed Industries, reminding you when it comes to keeping nice and cool right through the entire spring and summer. Give them a call and ask about Canner climate control systems as well. They'll keep you nice and cool, as I said, all summer long. 514-342-3400 or online, guaranteedindustries.com. I want to begin by asking, and yes, I want to talk about tonight's debate and what we can expect, but I want to get your reaction to what you saw last night, what you heard last night. And let me start off just throwing you a bit of a sort of different perspective. Let's deal with Yves-François Blanchet first. What did you make of what you heard from him last night?
Well, expectations were high for Mr. Blanchet because he's a very good communicator. He is experienced. It was in French. He's the only one for whom French is the first language. So, of course, he was under pressure. He was under pressure also because the Bloc Québécois campaign is not doing so well. When you look at the projections right now, it's not a very good scenario for the Bloc Québécois. I think he did a good job yesterday. He was able to have the right balance between talking about his ideas, his views on a number of different topics. He was able to attack Mr. Carney, but not too hard because he wants to remain constructive. And I think he knows that a lot of people are seeing something in Mark Carney right now. Mr. Blanchet also talked about the crisis with the U.S. and said that it's a valid issue. People are scared right now. They are insecure, and he understands it. But we also need to talk about other issues, and we need to talk about Quebec's interests. And I think he did that very good, very well yesterday.
Enough to make some people say, hey, you know what, he's never going to form a government. We understand that, of course, going into the debate, but it's someone I'd consider parking my vote with. And I asked the question, Antonine, because we know right now, politically in Quebec, the Liberals continue to be well ahead. It's really a battle, I think, for second place between the Conservatives and the Bloc, is it not?
Absolutely, and I'm not sure the yesterday's debate is going to change the whole course of this campaign. It's hard to convince the voters that right now the priority is to send a big number of MPs, of Bloc MPs, to Ottawa. Voters seem to be reassured by someone like Mark Carney. He is experienced. He has a great resume. He's almost boring, and people want boring right now. And when you have this insecurity, economic problems, it's harder for the separatist parties, of course, because it will serve the status quo and very safe options a lot more than parties that will suggest big changes right now.
So if we wrap up last night, then we'll move on. Was there a winner, a loser last night? Was everybody just, it seemed, playing it safe? There were no losers, really?
I think Mr. Poilievre did a good job. He was under pressure too, but I'm not sure it's going to make the needle move enough to be able to beat Mr. Carney, because Mr. Carney, the expectations were so low. He just needed to avoid making big mistakes. He was not the greatest debater. He's not the best communicator. His French is not very good. We all knew that already, and I'm under the impression that he was quite happy with the debate yesterday because it was not too bad. So he's kind of the winner of the debate. Yesterday we thought that he made no major mistake, but today we realize that he made one mistake yesterday. He talked about nuclear energy, and he named two companies, and one of them is a company that Brookfield acquired in the past. So I think the Conservatives tonight, actually Pierre Poilievre tonight, is probably going to attack him about this conflict of interest. Since the beginning of this campaign, Conservatives tried to talk about Mr. Carney's conflict of interest and ethical issues, but nothing really sticked. Maybe tonight it will be a little more difficult for Mr. Carney to avoid that subject.
So let me deal with that. A lot of people, and I was talking to a couple of our other analysts earlier in the show, saying if you expected the Pierre Poilievre that you get in the House of Commons, this is a completely different Pierre Poilievre, and that's obviously by design. I mentioned it was almost, to me at least, kind of creepy to see him smiling as much as he did and trying to portray this image of, look, I'm just like the other guys. I'm a nice, happy, sort of smiley guy. I guess it worked to a point, certainly with people who up until now have decided, no, that's not the kind of person I would vote for. This is a bit of a personality change. And when I say change, I mean in terms of what the public gets to see. Does that stay tonight, or do we sort of start to see the Pierre Poilievre that more people were familiar with before he sort of adopted this new attitude?
I think he doesn't have a choice to change a little bit his attitude because he's not applying for leader of opposition job right now. He's applying to be prime minister, and the person he has in front of him, Mr. Carney, is very, very calm. So he needed to be just a little more calm yesterday. And that smiling thing, I think it's getting better because maybe he didn't see that interview at Radio Canada a few days ago. Mm-hmm. It's called Five Leaders, One Election. He was smiling so much. That was kind of creepy. I think yesterday it was a lot better. He's trying to find a way to smile more naturally. But I think his main goal is to be maybe a little less scary for the general public, especially in Quebec. In Quebec, Conservatives can be very scary for a lot of voters. I hear that a lot. How can we make sure that we block the Conservatives? We don't want to have a majority Conservative government. So I think yesterday was trying to be likable, acceptable to a bigger number of voters. But tonight, maybe he'll be a little bit more aggressive. I can't wait to see if he will try to attack Mr. Carney a little more about Justin Trudeau's legacy too, because Mr. Carney is basically saying, "Oh, I wasn't there. I'm the new guy. I don't have to, justify everything that's been done in the last 10 years." And I think there are some questions that need to be raised in the debate tonight.
I got last night this whole thing about, and I think Pierre Poilievre, I think Jagmeet Singh may have said it at one point as well, you're just like Justin Trudeau. And of course, Mark Carney's prepared answer is, I'm no more like Justin Trudeau than you are. That's the answer.
Yeah, but the counterattack is easy. The same ministers, it's the same Liberal Party. And I think yesterday, Mr. Poilievre and Mr. Blanchet did a great job to remind that. I was very surprised by Mr. Singh's strategy, actually. He was attacking Mr. Poilievre a lot more than Mr. Carney. And I don't think it's very wise because the more people will fear a Conservative victory, the more they will turn to a safer option, which is the Liberal Party. Right. So I expect Mr. Singh to attack Mr. Carney more tonight if he wants to score points.
And I will ask you just one last question as we wrap up. At the end of all of this, I think before debates even began, we're saying how many people really care, how many people watch. Of course, the issue last night with the hockey game, if we leave that aside, do you think at the end of all this, assuming there are no knockout punches tonight, this really changes anything with respect to how you're going to vote or how people will vote?
I saw a Léger poll 2 days ago stating that almost 20% of the voters could still change their mind. Yeah. The debates are important. For a lot of people, that will be the only time they will actually listen because, we listen to all the news and we read all the newspapers, but it's not the case for everyone. So the debate is really important. Yesterday's debate, I don't think it's going to change drastically this campaign, but we'll see. Maybe tonight we'll have a more impactful debate, and we'll see in a few days in the polls if we can observe some changes in voters' behavior.
All right. Antonine, thanks so much. Very nice meeting you. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much.